was fun. Visited Oahu and the Big Island. Big Island was a first for me, which is where Kilauea, a very active volcano, lives. And as usual in my travels, collaging was not far from my mind. I collected a lot of ephemera. And all of it, I'm happy to report, was free. So walking through the airport, waiting for a rental car, waiting for my luggage which got lost for a second, I saw these brochures and thought, collage, 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 collage. It's never far from my mind. So I'm just going to share with you some of the ephemera that I collected. Actually, probably all of it. I brought along my trusty plastic sleeves. And anything I saw that was of interest, I thought about it and I grabbed it. Not too much because I don't want to be a collage hoarder, which I kind of am. But I look at little things like this and you know how I feel about suns, especially from the wine label collage. I do love little suns. And I do enjoy maps as possible backgrounds. This map actually came in handy when we were going around the Big Island. Big Island was a lot of fun. I'd never been, and I learned a lot too. There's a lot going on in regards to geology. And I did grab some real estate magazines also. Sometimes more than one. I get a couple extra because I like having them as backup for my collage classes. Things to do, which I didn't do, but I see, so things to do in regards to excursions and such. But there's so much cool stuff to do in Hawaii, you really don't need to pay any extra for excursions. But then again, the excursions are a lot of fun too. So I see stuff like this and I'm like, oh, definitely that's going to be a collage. A collage today? Don't know. There's another one. 101 fun things to do. These can be backgrounds, possibly. Another beautiful real estate magazine. And then on the plane, Hawaiian Airlines, give them a little shout out. It was quite pleasant. And they have these beautiful Hanahau magazines that are filled with beautiful imagery and they were free. They told us we can take them. Initially, I took one and hoped that they would be okay with it. Then I found out later it was fine. They were free and we could take them. So I took 3. Beautiful quality, strong paper, great images. So if you ever sign up for one of my workshops, you may find yourself with a packet of Hanahau magazines. So I'm just going to start sorting through one of these magazines. And I might use that as for searching for a focal point. What I could do is just grab one each of these pieces of ephemera and build a collage from here. That's kind of where I think I'm headed. Here are some. Actually, I built a collage while I was in Hawaii. I actually cut this guy out. Didn't use him for anything. Cut this out of another magazine. Something like this might come about when you're playing. I didn't have any of my tools with me, but I did have a scissors in the Airbnb we were staying at, and I did create this little collage because I had to create. I just had to do something. It's wonderful being in a place like the Big Island because there's so much to see, but at the same time, other artists are going to relate to this. We're driven to create. We can't help it. So I absolutely had to make something. So I am going to not so much limit myself, but she's kind of interesting. Maybe for a minimal collage, the way she's situated. What I'm going to do is grab just a couple of magazines and brochures and maybe build something from there. I don't know if I'm going to mix anything else with the collage, bring in any other type of ephemera. And I don't even know if it's going to be a Hawaiian collage, maybe not. So I'm just going to get started and you can join me on the search. While working on this little sun, because it kind of matches this little sun, the theme for this video has come to pass and is clear in my mind that I'm just going to create one collage out of the ephemera I collected in Hawaii. And I'm already tempted to go to my other ephemera that have nothing to do with this Hawaiian theme, because I'm actually having some difficulty figuring out what my focal point is going to be. I am in that process of collecting, as some of you know from watching previous videos, that's how I kind of operate. I just start picking out pieces that I really like and put them off to the side. And of course, the more ephemera we have, the more fun we have when we are creating. So I'm just going to keep cutting, keep thinking. I'm steering towards this as the focal point, but I'm not certain yet if it will be the focal point. I am gonna go through my ephemera once more to see what I have and where I want to go with this particular collage. I am limiting myself because everything is contemporary, everything is Polynesian themed, well, almost Polynesian themed, but certainly with that Hawaiian feel. I did put some tape on this image. It's highly graphic, and it is a logo for a restaurant. I think it might be a good transparency. So I was thinking about a transparency or two, maybe with this and also with the turtle shirts. I think that might make a good transparency also. I'm not certain yet. Again, still in that process of figuring out what I want to do, what direction I want to go in. Challenge I run into when I limit myself to what type of ephemera I'm going to use for a project. That's why I like mixing my vintage ephemera with some stamps, some old books, some new magazines. Because here what I have are magazines, brochures, and maps. And I don't want to, for lack of better terms, regurgitate a brochure. That's not what I'm going for here. I want to reflect my experience, but I also want to do it in a surrealistic way. So here I have this very interesting piece from an aquarium, but the little boy, there's not a lot of contrast. I don't know if that's going to work. So I may want to look for something along these lines that's just a bit more interesting. Again, I don't need to mimic the brochure. I don't want to do that. That's not That's not why we're here. We're creating new places, new landscapes based on places that we have been. So again, I am simply collecting ephemera, not sure where I'm going. I am grabbing a lot of the ukuleles that's so iconic of Hawaii. The ukulele is a four-stringed instrument, and I am not a musician, but I do know that it was brought over to Hawaii by the Portuguese immigrants that came there to work. And it's, from what I understand, it looks like it's an easy instrument. It's no instrument is easy to play. It takes a lot of practice to master it. So I'm kind of intrigued by the ukulele, and I think I may want to take lessons someday. But right now, I am very interested in collaging. So she seems to be winning out as my focal point. I'm not sure if I'm going to go in the direction that I normally go in, or maybe I will. I'm right now just enjoying the experience of going through my ephemera. There is plenty to be had because, as I showed you earlier in the video, I have several pieces of the same type of ephemera that I went ahead and collected, trying not to, bogart all of it, but nonetheless, I have it ready to go if I need to maybe come back in and grab another one of these images from the jewelry ads. I have several of those magazines that it came in, so I might do that if I want to repeat a pattern. And I'm not sure. I'm still not sure where I'm going. So I'm going to keep on working. A lot of ideas are going through my mind right now. I feel like I want to make her face ocean. So I'm looking, ooh, there's a nice piece of ocean right there. So that's definitely a possibility. So I think I want to do something along those lines, either that or sky, because let's face it, when we talk about Hawaii, we talk about the ocean and getting out onto that beautiful ocean to have fun and to relax and to transport ourselves. So I am going to go ahead and cut this out very carefully. As you may have noticed, maybe in time lapse, it goes a little fast, obviously. I was pulling a lot of these pages out. That's not ideal. I prefer to cut my pages out of books and magazines because you run the risk of ripping it. Even doing it this way, I run the risk of ripping the image, and I don't want to do that. Using the X-Acto knife allows me to do a careful perforation so I can at least begin a good cut or an easy pull from the book or magazine that I want to get my image from. And this is getting a little messier than I'd like it to be. But it's just a background. And I have other ones, so I can, play with it a lot more. So it's a little messy. It's a little messier than I like. And that's fine. I can work with that. So I think this will be ideal for what I want to do. I want to put in these pieces, I believe, or the suns for her eyes, for the sunglasses. Not sure yet. I really like these images. The problem is they are also blue. Are they going to stand out well on this blue surface? I'm not sure yet. So what I'm going to do is my old trick, which is cutting out the image, and I got to hang on to this because I'm going to need these sunglasses especially. This is going to get just a little trickier. Let's see. So let's go ahead and cut out the template, the face. I'm going to hang on to the sunglasses, and by doing what I mean by that is I'm just going to cut around them. It makes it a little more detailed. and that's fine. Just a little more work than I intended. These are pretty easy sunglasses, it seems. So cut her forehead out first. I'm going to leave the hair intact. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the hair, but we'll leave the hair for now. Sometimes I like to make things look a little more, the models look a little bit more androgynous. Here we go. That was a good cut. And I may use the eyebrows, but there isn't very much eyebrow to show, so I may not need it. And give you a preview of what I'm thinking. So yeah, that looks kind of cool. Do I keep the nose? I think so. Let's keep the nose. So let's get back to time lapse and do a little bit more cutting. Decisions. We're dealing with some very delicate cutting here. Fortunately, I maintained this piece, but it's still very delicate, so I'm playing with the template, but I'm not sure what's going to work. I think this will work, but it's going to require me to cut around this area again, and this is already so delicate. Not sure if I want to do that. We do have these suns. I have a big sun and a little sun. Highly graphic, very cartoony, and actually really good for collage because, again, we got that juxtaposition. We have something that is photoreal. It is real. It's a human face, but then we have these adorable little suns. So I'm not sure. I might want to put these here for the eyes. Eyes and eyes. I don't know. I do like those the jewelry ads. That looks kind of cool. I really like the way the sun is bouncing off of the blue of the ocean, and the other sun kind of fills up the space. That has possibility, a lot of possibility. Now, I was looking at this ukulele player. I just cut out his hands, his arms. I need to come in and cut here. And we just have like a disembodied hands and arms that are playing the ukulele, and we still have her lips, which are going to remind us that this is still human. And I can place the lips anywhere I want. However, I did maintain the template if I wish to. Actually, it looks like I almost got it there. And the nose certainly tells us this is human. And am I going to keep this? I don't know yet. Probably not, because I'd like it to be a lot more interesting. Now, I was also going to play with this graphic turtle. Came from a magazine ad with the off a t-shirt. I like it a lot. I am concerned, just going to put this out there, concerned about copyright. I'm basically taking this other artist's image and putting it onto mine. This isn't going to be for sale, so I shouldn't be in any trouble. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it, though. It is cool, but I think I'm going to put that off to the side. The same thing to be said for the surfer. I don't know if I'm going to use that surfer image for transparency. Would it be cool? It might be. I need to take it off, though. I need to soak it in water and then peel it off and see if it's even going to be a successful transfer. It might not. I do want to use this Hawaiian flag, and I think I want to use this lotus, this hibiscus maybe, and see where I go with that. So still in the thinking process, this could be a very small collage, the rate we're going. Less is more, even though we have a ton of ephemera to work with. It doesn't mean that I have to use every single piece. I've learned that the hard way. Compositionally, it may not be strong if I do that. So let's get back to time-lapse, and I'm going to probably start gluing down this sea image on the back of my model. Some good old-fashioned spray adhesive on the back of our model, our focal point. I'd like to get her at the horizon line. Whether or not I do, whether or not it's successful, I'm going to try. And this is always kind of a crazy thing to do. I'll just line that up. And it's sticky, and I don't want it to buckle, and I want to get everything down as precisely as possible. Oh, look what it did. It's messing up my sunglasses here. Spray adhesive is something I don't use like I used to. I used to use spray adhesive for virtually all of my collages because I liked the clean way it adhered to the paper, and it didn't buckle. Now, that doesn't mean it won't. You still need to treat it like any other adhesive. Don't overdo it. But it is nice to have, and it is a good tool, and it is something that I do use now and then. I used it for a collage recently. I use it quite often when I am working with commissions and it's going to go into somebody's home, because that's a nice, that adhered pretty well. I'm not too worried about this bit. I can probably just trim it away with a straight edge, just so. And I'll line it up, give it a nice clean cut. But spray adhesive I don't generally use on all of my collages. My early collages, my early videos, if you want to catch those, they are usually the product of some spray adhesive, which again, I absolutely have nothing against it. I just don't use it as much. I like using my packing tape. Haven't used any packing tape yet today. And I was concerned too because I thought, oh, I want the suns to be in the glasses, but I'm simply going to place them atop the glasses because I was playing with it and I thought, oh, it's all right. I don't need to put them directly underneath. I think they look kind of cool that way. So I'm going to clean this up just a little bit and get back to work. Time for the possible unveiling of the transparency. It's been soaking for a minute, in case you forgot. I'm sure you didn't. Had it soaking here, this little surfer. I used this to weigh it down, make sure that it stayed in the water. I'm just going to kind of, oh wow, I just peeled the paper off and it just kind of lifted. Oh wow, that looks pretty good. I've been sort of lucky with these transparencies lately. So we did this in Signs of Rain, and that transparency came up really nice, and this transparency looks like it did the job too. I am a fan, once again, of the Scotch 3M Heavy Duty Shipping Packing Tape. You heard it here first, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe use this. If not in this collage, then certainly in another one. I want to clean it up a little bit. It does have some of that white residue, which isn't horrible. It's not going to ruin anything. I'm going to cut him out precisely. I'm not going to use all of that, the taped up part. There's no need for it. It doesn't add to the image. So I'm just going to kind of let it dry a bit here on some bit of paper towel. Yeah, that's a nice transparency. If you want to get a better idea of it, let's show you. So yeah, it's pretty good. There's, like I said, there is some white residue. It's not awful. Let's go ahead and just trim away here and see what we come up with. Still questionable whether or not I will use it in this collage. I could almost say, hey, I can flip it around and use it and use the other side to transform it more in case I'm worried about copyright, because again, it was from an advertisement. It's a logo for a restaurant in Hawaii. I'm not sure which one. I'm just going to go ahead and cut. And we can do that. Finish it up in time lapse. The main image, the model that we start out with, has been majorly transformed. It's quite androgynous now. Took out the hair, and also it's kind of like a floating head of sorts, which is not a bad thing. And I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it that way. She's going to not have hair, but I do want a background of some sort, and I'm not sure what that is going to be. I was looking at this pagoda. Maybe. I'm going to have to probably go through the ephemera again and decide what I'd like to do. Thought about maybe the maps. The reason being they're very, very graphic-y. And I think it'll distract. So, looking for my brush so I can get my sons on here. I liked this little, so these are very graphic-y, they're very cartoony, as is our little surfer guy. He fits well here even with his white background because of the sky here. So got a lot going on all of a sudden too, so I need to be careful. I don't want to take away from what we have. Like I said, this isn't just because this came out really well, doesn't mean I have to use it. So I'm going to actually set it off to the side. This will be part of the background, the Hawaiian flag. So we have a lot going on here now when I do this. I want to take this out. I want to put this here. And then I liked how this came out. But remember, I was going for the ukulele theme. Oh, that might look good. And I still have to do some cutting here. So because of the ukulele theme, that's why I kept the neck here, because I liked the flesh idea. And I think this is how it'll go. With the lips, this was the proper placement for the lips. Right here. Remove that. That looks good. I like that. So this is what we have so far for our Hawaiian collage. I'm almost thinking about cutting the forehead off. Do I dare? Do I dare? If I do, that means I do not use this guy. Stopping here, and I'm going to sleep on it again because I'm not sure how I feel about this collage. I shared that I didn't want to repeat a brochure pattern. I wasn't going for anything that standard layout. I wanted to do things a little bit differently, and that's surreal. It's something else. I definitely ran with the ukulele theme at the last minute, actually. So not quite sure even about the swordfish here. I'm wondering, I might remove him, maybe. Might seem stronger without the swordfish. I'm gonna just gently lift him up and see if maybe it might be a little more interesting without our swordfish and a little less busy. I kind of glued his tail down too, so wish me luck here. I'm actually trying to remove him very gently because I'd like to use him again or keep him in this collage. But what I'm doing here, okay, so far so good, yeah. It's a little less busy without him there, but he certainly signifies Hawaii. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep him. I'm not sure if I should keep him. It's kind of top heavy also. I put this parachute parasail at the last minute. Do I need that even? Let me remove that too. See, everything's kind of, it's, the packing tape is now presenting a bit of an issue. It's not too bad, but I don't want to rip any of the ephemera. Just going really slow. Packing tape can be forgiving, as this is proving. Okay, looks a little less busy. I have this guy here, and I don't know. Even remove this starfish, jeweled starfish. I'm going to keep the tape there in case I decide to put him back. And he's already ripped a little bit. I'm not happy about that. I don't know. I'm going to sleep on it and see how I feel in the morning. It's telling me more about Hawaii than having these other elements on, which are fun and cool. But I feel like this is speaking to me more now because I simplified it a little bit. Keep that there. Let's see how I feel in the morning. Less is more. I removed our swordfish. I removed the little sea star. Not sure where I put it. Didn't end up using the transparency either. No. I'm going to leave it alone. It's more like a minimal now. And that's because I believe I used only my ephemera from Hawaii and came up with something I believe is surreal and different and doesn't look like I copied the brochures. I am only cleaning up the packing tape that was holding the swordfish and the little star that was up in this corner. Stayed with the ukulele look, so that's kind of the theme going on here, the little ukuleles. Let's get that little bit of packing tape away. There is some packing tape across the smaller ukulele. What is not so much challenging for me, but I like that I am now taking chances where I'm turning things upside down and putting them into spaces they may not necessarily belong, like this upside down ukulele. I got some packing tape here, but I'm going to leave it alone. It's not really going to show up too much, I don't believe anyway. But it's done. It says Hawaii to me, and it's a different take based on the ephemera that I had. So I will hang on to this guy, and I'll hang on to the other guys that I cut out so carefully and did not use. It's not a bad thing. And that's going to be it for this week. Hope you enjoyed it.